Hey everybody.
Hello. How is
How you
everything?
Hello.
doing? How's it
Oh,
going, Vincent?
good. How are you?
Good.
Is it? Is it though?
Is it?
I
No,
sound horrible, but that's
no
okay.
spoilers. No spoilers yet.
Spoilers.
No
I don't think
spoilers.
anybody's going to be watching that who hasn't already seen the episode.
You
True.
don't know though. We do have some international people who maybe don't have access to Great Canadian Baking Show.
Okay, so maybe we're the only way that they're getting to know what happened.
Exactly.
All
There
right.
is going to be spoilers then.
That's true.
Well, no, I meant right away. I said
Okay.
Okay.
to hold
All right.
on to.
Hold on to the
Save
end.
Star Baker and Eliminated Baker for later, but
Right, right.
yes.
Got it.
Everybody's doing okay. Vincent has a little bit of trouble with his microphone, but that's all good. He's going to yell for the entire meeting.
I am.
That's pretty good.
I'm going to sound like I'm in a hallway compared to everybody else.
It's all good. You know, we work with what we got.
Yeah.
Technology has not been our friend for a lot of this podcast,
I've
but
been saying that for my whole life, but whatever.
that's okay. Thank you for doing this anyway, because we're very happy to have the fabulous Baker Boys here.
We really are.
You
We're
So
happy to be
fun.
here.
It
I have
really
my
is.
tea. I have my tea.
have your tea. Now we're going to
I
spill it.
me too.
I'm drinking coffee as usual.
Yes, it's late here.
Yeah, it's not as late over here.
No,
That's it.
So
I'm
what did,
still drinking my decaf tea.
oh, yeah, smart.
You and
What
Jen.
what did everybody think of, yeah, that's right. She used the decaf coffee. What did everybody think of coffee and tea week? I like having these different weeks.
I loved it.
What do
I
you think?
enjoyed it as well, and I was expecting it to be very difficult because imparting tea flavors is generally a more difficult task than imparting coffee flavors. But
Yes,
I
I
was looking forward to seeing what people use, what kind of tea people use to try to get certain flavors.
Yeah. And before we get more further into week 4, I was just going to say, I think that the technical from last week is probably the most baked technical ever, at least
Yeah.
judging by what I have seen on Instagram. I cannot believe how many people just had to try and it was so good.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness, did I love it.
There
Yeah,
was a reason why.
I'm the
yeah.
only one here who hasn't baked it, right?
You're the only one who hasn't
Steven,
baked it.
what are you waiting for?
I
And
was away
honestly,
this weekend. I went away I was
Oh,
chasing waterfalls for 3 days in upstate New York.
okay.
That's
Okay.
that's a
Well,
good
that's fair.
excuse.
That's a good excuse. But yeah, definitely they do not disappoint those buns. So highly
So good.
recommend.
Now, had either of you made your own cream cheese before?
no,
What did you think of that process?
I thought that Erica's right. I'm an adult. I can buy cream cheese. However, I do like the idea that there's no preservatives and stuff in it, so that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I
It
really like.
was very good, but it
Yeah.
was no better than Philadelphia cream cheese.
I mean, how can you compare to Philly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was more expensive.
I was going to say, and it's not a cost effective way of incorporating cream cheese into a recipe.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So
It's just pretty cool to be able to say, I just whipped up some cream cheese, and everybody's like, you made cream cheese? Excuse me?
yeah,
And you're like, yeah, that's just me.
exactly.
Now, did all of you have enough cream cheese from the recipe to fill all 8 buns?
Yes.
Well, you
Really?
only filled 4. You can't say
No, I
that.
built. I
Oh
filled
no,
six.
I
Christina.
didn't. No, I did 8. I
Oh,
split my batch between
oh,
the
okay.
sweet and savory one. So you
Okay.
know what I did? I actually, because I split my batch, I did 4 buns. I did a sweet version, and then I also did and then I did the regular cream, garlic cream cheese ones. So I actually had to weigh to split my batch. And so when I actually put it in the piping bag to pipe into the buns, I weighed that as well, divided by 4 in my case, and then had my bun on the scale as I was piping. So I knew exactly how much cream cheese I needed to put into each of the buns.
That's
I did
exactly how I
exactly the
would have
same
piped it,
thing.
to be honest with you. Exactly.
Ah,
You probably wouldn't think it, but I'm a stickler for weighing everything when I have to portion it out.
Hmm.
same,
Yeah.
I
all
did the
all
same.
the time,
Yep, me
all the
too.
time.
It's
And
impressive.
I'm right, like I am like exact. I don't like, oh, it's close. Remember when Larry was over, we were baking
Yeah.
bread? I think I drove him nuts because when it says 300 grams, damn it, it's going to be 300 grams on that scale. I will add a little bit more, or I'll take away until it actually hits the right amount. Just
Yeah.
sorry.
And that scale is bouncing from 299 to 301, and you're just like, ah. Yeah, I didn't have enough. I mean, I did in the end have enough cream cheese, but I filled the first few really, really full and then suddenly realized, oh, I'm not going to have enough cream cheese. So I actually had to go back and scoop a bunch out of the first couple.
Mm.
But did you divide yours in six? I think yours were split into four, Christina.
No, mine were sixes.
Were they six? Okay.
Yep,
It
yep,
was hard to see in the photo.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Mm.
well, you did everything perfect. You're
Good.
just
Well,
It's a good note because like I can eat cream cheese with a spoon, to be
mm,
honest. So now I know when I make it, I'm just doubling that cream cheese batch.
probably a good
I'm not
yeah.
weighing anything. I'm double cream cheese and I'm just
Yeah.
going in.
Although I think, I
Because
mean, for me, I mean, I don't, cream cheese is okay. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but I actually found there was more than enough cream cheese in the cream cheese bun.
not for me.
Okay.
No way. It needed more and it needed a little bit more seasoning. It needed some salt for sure.
Hmm.
And you definitely do not have to do a full batch of the custard. You can even do a
No,
quarter
but
because
that
I
I
custard,
did
wouldn't
a
say
half batch.
I wouldn't say a quarter. I would say maybe half.
I did
yeah,
half and I had a ton left still.
but
So
that custard is like amazing. Oh my God. And the sweet. So again, I split my batch in two, right? The sweet version and I added vanilla to the sweeter version. And then on the savory version, I did it as it was. So added my garlic and everything afterwards. Anyway, that custard was,
right,
that was amazing. I
Yeah.
right.
loved it as a sweet version as well as the savory version with the
But
garlic and parsley.
when you sort of see these kind of recipes, when I was making it, I was thinking, what genius came up with this?
Mhm.
Like making that glaze, like
Yeah.
condensed milk and whatever
Butter
green
and
that
egg.
was, and butter and egg, and this
Yeah.
is it's like who came up with this?
Yeah.
And how does your brain work,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And then pouring it on and it added moisture to the bun itself, and it was just absolutely just luscious.
It was.
But boy, the garlic breath and reburps are real. Oh,
Worth
Candace
it.
Candace messaged me and said, "Yes, the garlic is real, and make sure whenever you eat it, everybody in the room has to eat it with you."
Exactly. That's the rule. That
And
is
he's like,
definitely the
"Yes,
rule.
you are right."
So good. So good. Chris really, he just was like, do we have any more of those buns left? Like he would eat it whenever he had the chance. Whenever he remembered that they existed, he ate a full one. So they didn't last long.
I
No.
think Phil was very on point when he said that this is an everything bagel.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
looked like to me, and
It, yeah.
which is what got me at the beginning. You got an
Mhm.
everything bagel, there's extra garlic, there's cream cheese. You throw in some smoked salmon, I'm there all day long.
It
Right.
I was
is. You
gonna
know what? You
say
don't
it's
throw
just
salmon in
missing
that?
bacon.
Delicious.
Oh no, you need smoked salmon for that one.
But I
Mm.
think those
Mhm.
those buns actually with that custard glaze on there as well, I think would be a perfect little vessel for like pulled pork or stew or any of that kind of stuff as well. So
Kind of
and
open them up a little bit more and use it as like a bread bowl.
then use it as almost like a little bread bowl. But I think it would be delicious with like the little enriched dough, yeah, especially pulled pork or pulled chicken. Yeah,
Look at
right?
Steven,
See?
look what you're doing
You're
to
saying
him.
all my words.
They would be delicious. They would be
Big
so
is
good.
life.
Oh,
I think like I make the Chinese barbecue pork buns,
Yes.
and I think I'm going to try glazing it with that stuff next time. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be a
And
staple.
but the garlic, the amount of garlic that you put it, like I put 5 cloves of garlic. I'm thinking that's a lot of garlic, and it was a lot of
Didn't it
garlic.
call for two?
No, I called for
Three.
Oh,
four
Oh,
large,
four.
so
okay.
four large.
the garlic goes because I haven't even read the recipe. So
Mhm.
for the glaze, the garlic goes in while you're making the glaze.
Yep.
Yeah, you
So
you make you melt the butter, and then
yeah,
you grate the garlic into it,
Yep.
and
right.
then you put in the other ingredients, which is the
Condensed
sweet
milk.
condensed milk and whatever
Right.
have you, and the
Then
egg.
Could
Was it one egg yolk or something?
one
Yeah.
egg yolk.
Egg.
Yeah.
change the flavor a bit and really make it a little more mild? Couldn't you just then change it to roasted garlic
Oh
You
and
could.
let it
yeah.
all day long, and it's not going to be
Well,
so crazy?
Yeah.
yeah, you could. You
but
can.
it was good.
I only used like 2 cloves, I think, maybe 3, whatever was in the recipe, but I didn't use large ones. So
Because
mine
cloves
wasn't as
are
garlic.
cloves are it's not really a measurement, right? I mean, a
Yeah.
guy gave me garlic he grew in his backyard. It looks like elephant garlic, like it's
It
huge.
smells, yeah.
There are 5 cloves inside. That's it
In one head?
in
Or
one head.
yeah.
So if
Whoa.
you tell me to use 4 cloves, you're talking almost the size
Oh,
of my fist. So
wow.
really, you got to know how much garlic you're putting
Yeah.
in there, right? Because a clove is a clove, isn't a clove.
I think it's like any seasoning you do, though. You can start by adding some and then just taste, right? And then make sure that you've got the right amount. If it's not the right amount, just keep adding some more until you're
I mean,
there,
garlic's always good,
right?
Oh
You
yeah,
can't go
right?
wrong. You
all day
can't.
long.
All right, well, let's move from Savory Week on to Tea and Coffee Week
Yes.
because I'm loving these new. I mean, I am kind of missing Bread Week. Not that
Yeah. When is
about
bread
that.
week? When? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
hoping it'll be here. It'll be one episode soon, but we've got 4 left.
I know it's kind of strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're mixing it up a little bit. So I'm kind of like anticipatory for that, but also really enjoying the new themes.
Hmm.
And I liked the way that they incorporated tea and coffee into everything for this particular for all 3 challenges. So the signature challenge was the tiramisu.
Mhm.
That was
Hmm.
pretty
So
good.
for me, a lot of this tiramisu, I guess that's the way tiramisu is supposed to be generally. I don't make my tiramisu that way, like
Rifle.
in a trifle bowl generally, or I usually do it in a pan of some sort.
Hmm.
Mm.
But I was watching the episode. I was like, this isn't tiramisu. It's a trifle. Like a lot of them were like they look like trifles, right?
Or in Marcus's case, a Charlotte.
A Charlotte.
A Charlotte. Honestly, I make my tiramisu like a Charlotte. Like
So
I do exactly what he
I
does.
do a freestanding cake with ladyfingers on the outside to hold it,
Exactly.
Nice.
and
I've
not a
never seen
bow,
it done
and
that
not a
way.
bow. I that,
Nope.
but you don't
Still
have
need
enough
it.
time to have the gelatin set in the tent.
Yeah, I was really impressed
Yes.
by that actually, that Marcus managed to get both of his mousses to
Yeah.
set
Mhm.
as well as
Well, to be honest, one of his mousses they had a little bit too much gelatin, was it not?
that's true.
Like the
Yeah.
coffee mousse.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
across the board, a lot of people were using fruit and coffee
Mhm.
flavoring. So there was like
Yep.
passion fruit and I guess like strawberry was
Blackberry.
one of it, and cherry and
Yep.
that sort of stuff. But to me,
Bananas.
it was kind of like I've never had coffee with fruit. I just found
I
it kind of
agree.
an odd combination.
That was throwing me for a loop. Listening
too.
again, I'm so unrefined. Maybe I was wrong, but so I'm glad to hear that from people with actual palates.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was odd too. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of get like the banana
Mhm.
and
Yes.
coffee. I
Yes.
think that actually I can see that
Yeah.
working really nicely. Cherries and coffee?
Yeah, I don't know. Like
I'm not
Jen's
So,
sure.
combination
but
also.
Passion fruit and coffee?
the cherries and coffee one, like that Black Forest uh, from Erica,
Yeah.
it was more chocolate forward
Yeah.
than
Mhm.
it was
And they
coffee
even
forward.
mentioned
They
that.
didn't even
Yeah.
say anything about coffee in that one. They were just the chocolate flavor and da 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 da. So I'm kind of like, well, isn't tiramisu supposed to be like at least coffee? And this is coffee and tea week.
Mhm.
And I think that was part of the original discussion. What they were looking for was that coffee flavor being the
Yes.
predominant. Like they wanted the coffee flavor to be right, like it should hit you.
It
Yeah,
should,
they had
Yeah.
2 hours to
It
make
hit
them.
you.
They wanted distinct layers. They wanted crisp ladyfingers, and they wanted a distinctive coffee flavor.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they didn't mention it at all for Erica's. They needed more cherries, and they mentioned the chocolate flavor. The cream was beautifully set, though. That
It
Yeah.
was beautiful.
that was
I mean,
gorgeous.
I loved Erica's version. I mean, I'm a sucker for Black Forest anyway. So I was all over that one, but I'm not sure where the coffee was.
Yeah,
I don't think that was a tiramisu.
Yeah, you'd have to put a lot of coffee with because as we know, right, coffee just amps up chocolate flavor.
Chocolate.
You won't taste the coffee.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
gotta put a lot of coffee if you're putting chocolate to get any coffee flavor.
Yeah.
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 And
And
to
I
be-
think her lady fingers were actually chocolate flavored as well, from what I
Oh.
can remember too.
And then soaked in the coffee.
And then soaked in the coffee.
I correct me if I'm wrong, but I looked a couple of times and I didn't find a drawing and a description for Erica's. Um, like as I was watching it, I got everybody else's
Oh,
description with the
nope.
drawing, but I
No,
don't remember
Yep,
ever
it
seeing
was there.
Erica's.
it
She
was
Yep,
said at the
there.
beginning Black Forest tiramisu, but I don't remember ever seeing the drawing. So
yeah, because she was going after like having a 70s vibe with
yeah,
the tiramisu with the trifle
yeah, she did say that.
concept, and then it's also her dad's favorite.
Yeah.
Um,
I remember
yeah.
her saying that, but I don't remember seeing a drawing of it with
Hmm.
the descriptions on it.
Good question. I don't know.
And I was like, why is Erica left out? She's pretty awesome. I want to see her drawing. But it's probably just that I was at work.
Well, and to be fair, for people who have been like, being on the show and watching our episodes come back on television,
Mhm.
sometimes there's things that are said by the judges that don't actually make it in the cut. So to be fair to Erica, there could have been coffee flavor, but it just didn't make it in the cut. So,
Exactly.
we love
Yeah.
you, Erica, so please don't take this.
Right.
No, we're not critiquing you, Erica.
No.
No.
At all.
I
Just
will,
can go by what
I
we
will
see
hang
on
out
top.
and have coffee with Erica happily, and we will find out what was really
Yeah.
going on. We'll
Right,
spill the tea
exactly.
on the coffee for sure.
But that's great that you guys bring that up because you're right. Because there are still so many bakers in the tent, we don't get all of the details of what is discussed from the judges. And so we're only picking up on what is discussed and what's not discussed. And yeah, in that case, there was no coffee even mentioned.
I'm going to say there was a lot of frankenbiting today in this episode. There was a lot of choppy language that you could very clearly hear that they had spliced together, especially with Kyla. You could see a lot of things that she said were spliced together, not to change the meaning, but just to make it shorter, which I've had to do in our podcast lots of times. But you could hear the chops. And that is a good reminder, just like, okay, they have a lot more to say when they're standing there in front of everybody and we just don't get to hear it. So I'm sure she had coffee in it. Erica's not going to come to a coffee and tea week to a tiramisu challenge without having coffee flavor in it.
Yeah.
And the culinary would never let her get away with that anymore.
Yeah.
No, never.
That's totally fair.
I'm hearing what you guys are saying about the fruit, and I think where it was most jarring for me was with Elora's blackberry tiramisu. Her tea party display was gorgeous. I absolutely loved that. But with the blackberry jam, I think again that kind of threw me off. I couldn't figure out how the blackberry would pair with the coffee. It's probably very good.
And then because she had like a little pipette as well.
Yeah.
Pipette in there. What was in there? Because I don't
blackberry
think
jam, I think.
Blackberry jam.
Yeah.
Oh, so actual jam or was it more syrup?
It was jammy.
Jam. Yeah.
It was jammy. Oh, okay.
Because she had
her
the coffee,
jam
she had
itself. Sorry, Steve, go ahead.
caviar for the coffee, right? So
yes, she had the little
extra coffee in the pipettes. Yeah.
She had coffee in the mascarpone cream as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the blackberry, I mean, they said it looked beautiful.
It was a gorgeous dessert.
Oh, the tea party setup was later. Sorry. The way that she had those little very sharp edged containers because she had the individual servings of the tiramisu. And that was so pretty the way that she put it together. Hers and Pamela's with the individual servings rather than the large trifle / tiramisu / Charlotte / banana cake. Yeah.
I have 3 check marks beside Pamela's based on their reviews and what I saw. The creamy velvety texture, beautiful layers. There was not a harsh word to be found.
No, it was gorgeous, beautifully layered. And I loved her flavors actually because she did the white chocolate, the hazelnut,
You're a sucker for white chocolate, though. Come on.
Sorry, not sorry, Pamela. I love you. I know we could be buddies.
just don't tell Patty that you like that white chocolate.
Patty, I love you too, bestie.
Oh my goodness gracious.
No.
They really liked Pamela. As they said, it was whimsical and refined all at once and had beautiful layering, lots of coffee flavored, good textural components.
Well balanced. Yeah. Everything was just, I don't think she could have changed anything to make it any better at all. It was just perfection in the glass.
Yeah. I mean, it's a classic combinations, right? The chocolate hazelnut, gorgeous. Hazelnut praline, gorgeous. White chocolate, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Not too sweet.
No,
Very,
no.
very nice.
No, it was a trifecta miso.
That's
Mhm.
right.
We called it.
That's spot on all three of those
Yeah.
elements. And Rita also made coffee caviar for hers with her coffee and spice individual tiramisus.
Yeah.
And she really is giving us some language to trip on this whole entire episode. Did you guys notice all the different things that she's making with the elaborate foreign names? Not foreign. I hate saying foreign names. That's not what I mean. But like she had the Lebkuchen for the Lebkuchen fingers and the speculoos cream. And then we'll talk about the showstopper later. But
Yeah.
some of the stuff that it's like, okay, I'm not really sure what that tastes like.
Yeah. But the
Speculoos we do.
Yeah, the speculoos though, I loved her flavor combos again because it wasn't fruit. It was actually things that I think would pair nicely with coffee. So sort of those gingerbready kind of flavors that, I think I actually really liked where she went with that. I think where she had just a slight misstep, and I think it could have been an absolutely brilliant dessert, but she brushed her ladyfingers instead of soaking them. And so she just didn't get enough of that coffee flavor outside of the pearls, the caviar that she put on top.
Yeah.
And maybe if the concern is turning those ladyfingers to mush, which is always a concern, you've already got the pearls, put the pearls in.
Right.
After you've brushed them, put pearls down and then put your cream down.
Yes.
And then get that pop of coffee as they're eating it.
Yeah. I wonder if she had enough though, because she did count out her pearls on top. There were exactly 3 on top of each one. So I don't know if she actually just made enough to have it as a decor item rather than as part of her dessert. But I think that would have been really clever if she wasn't, just to add that extra bit of coffee, but also the texture would have been a lot of fun too to have the pearls in between.
Yeah, that would have been really good. Well, let's talk about Marcus, who apparently drinks about 6 espresso shots a day.
Okay.
Well, an accountant during tax time, right? I mean,
yes.
Who's in the tent during tax time? Yeah.
Makes total sense on that. But ambitious. I love the Charlotte style. I really like that part of it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was very unique. Apparently, it's not unique. Or maybe it's unique to Steve as well.
Well, Steve and I make it. So
both of you, yeah. Yeah, I thought that looked beautiful.
Yeah.
Passion fruit mousse and coffee mousse.
Well, I thought that it was really nice that it cut so nicely and it made distinct layers. It was quite lovely. A little bit too much gelatin. It's fine. The flavors were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful to have it be set when they cut into it. That was amazing.
And it was pretty too. It was a pretty cut slice too, with the color of the passion fruit. Again, I'm personally not sold, and I get because I've never had the combination. So maybe I could be proven wrong, but passion fruit and coffee to me doesn't sound
that one.
Tart with coffee,
No, that one to me actually is the one that of the fruits. That was the one that to me I was like, I think I've tasted that before and was surprised and enjoyed it. But
sour, sour and
not sour. It's got a
passion fruit's pretty sour. Like
depends on how you. I don't think you would be making a sour.
It's puckery.
It's very puckery.
Puckery.
Yeah, puckery. I don't know.
Passion fruit goes nice with white chocolate.
Yes, it does. Put some white chocolate in your coffee. Passion fruit, mango, guava. Maybe
banana. I think we have that later, right? We have passion fruit and mango together. It's the bang bang.
What did you guys think of Jen's popcorn bucket?
Gorgeous.
Oh,
absolutely. Like when I saw the picture, this was another one of those where there's the picture. Man, if she can come close to that, and then I was like, wow, why did you cover it? Like, but it was all for the reveal. And
know why, yes.
It's like the picture, when they said Coliseum, and I was thinking, yeah, it does look like the Coliseum. And I can't remember what it was at the moment when she lifted it, where I thought it looked like something else. It reminded me of actually film, like the old school.
Yeah.
With the holes. So
Yeah.
because
yes.
maybe she was talking about movie night, it kind of looked like that to me as well. It just
Oh,
looked amazing.
I wonder if that's what she was intending.
I don't know.
Well, I sort of looked at it as like it's a theater popcorn bowl. I thought it looked kind of like an amphitheater before they even said it was like a coliseum. But I was like, okay, it might be more like an amphitheater because, and I don't know how she got that
Yeah,
design.
right?
I know,
The
it's
stage.
so like
Probably-
It
everything
was
was
so
so
nice.
well done. Yeah.
And she
Probably
did the
piped it,
column,
right? In a
So brilliant.
yeah.
That's
Brilliant
hard to
design.
do on the inside of a trifle bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have it stay. So
Yeah.
brilliant design. And unfortunately, her flavors lacked flavor.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought it was loose.
Texture. It was more
It
of the
was-
texture.
it
It was very soft.
It was very loose, and her ladyfingers disintegrated even when she was layering it in the bowl too.
Yeah.
So although it looked really beautiful, I think I think it was a bit of a miss for Jen this week on her signature. Sorry, Jen, I love you,
Yeah.
but
Well, she used that. She used
Flavors
Sabayon,
were-
right?
pardon?
She used Sabayon, like cream.
I guess I didn't hear.
Yeah, she used Sabayon cream
Okay.
over
Yes, she did.
over the mascarpone, I think,
Mhm.
cheese.
Mhm.
So don't think that you don't use that's egg Sabayon.
Like an eggy custardy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be soft. It's
Mhm.
gonna be soft.
Yeah.
And
And
again,
she was probably just trying to get as much coffee flavor into her ladyfingers as she could, so she over soaked them.
it wasn't that. It was the
That was
cream.
part of it.
The cream itself.
The cream itself, like the custard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But I thought her ladyfingers were over soaked though.
That's what they
They were
said.
falling
Yeah.
apart as she
Yeah.
was
they were
dropping.
falling apart.
Yeah.
We lost texture.
But apparently I was
but
typing very fast because it said popcorn delicious.
Yeah.
Popcorn delicious.
Yeah.
So
The popcorn was very clever. I loved
Yeah.
the whole concept was clever, and I
Yeah.
really loved all of her flavors. Again, that caramel and coffee. I get that.
yeah,
And the
bourbon.
nuts.
And
I totally get that.
pecans, yeah.
Bourbon can never go wrong.
Yeah.
So yes, 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 yes. But
Yes.
then it was like,
Texture.
Disappointment. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, A plus 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 on design,
Yeah.
and just too bad on the flavors. But that
Yeah.
that's a next time thing.
yeah.
And
Well-
personally, I'm not a big fan of, and people are gonna hate me for this, but I'm not a big fan of caramel popcorn on top of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I
Like on
hate.
top of dessert, you
I
mean?
like it as its own thing. I
Mhm.
love caramel popcorn, and Mr. Steve is like the king of flavored popcorn. It's like insane. It's crack.
Oh,
Yeah, you have no idea. It's so good.
I want to.
Oh
And,
yes,
um,
definitely.
You eat it and you sneeze. Like you're sneezing the whole time you're eating, and you're going, oh, it's amazing. Anyway, but I'm not a big fan of caramel popcorn on top of stuff just because I have to chew it too much.
Mm.
I like crunchy,
Mhm.
but I don't like crunchy where you have to chew it too much.
Okay.
When it's on a dessert.
Yep.
So you
That's
try to
fair.
get a nice smooth mouthful, and then you get a little bit of crunch. That's really nice. But when you have to actually like bow down, I'm not a big fan. But it looked beautiful. My
Yeah,
gosh.
it was gorgeous, but yeah. But the reverse kind of happened with Guy, right?
Yeah.
His unfortunately looked great before they took the acetate off. And then, he had a very, similar. It was sad. I
That's
was
so sad.
It was sad.
Look at this trifle bowl, buddy. You didn't need to do that.
I was stressing out so
rubbish.
much when they were like, you have 20 minutes left. And then he was like, I need every minute of that chilling time. And he's putting his mousse in then. And I'm like, you have 20 minutes. It was the same for Marcus. It looked like he was putting it in at the 20-minute mark too. And I was like, what is happening here? How are people expecting their mousses to set?
But
One had
depends
a
on the
little bit
mousse
more gelatin
because-
than the other.
Well, because I have such an aversion to gelatin and mousse, and it might be triggered from the technical we did on our season where I don't know.
You've said this
I
before.
now have become friends with gelatin and I use it when need be, but I spent after being in the tent forever working on recipes for mousse because I love mousse that uses no gelatin. And is literally almost set when I pipe it. When I make it, it is almost set. So I could actually pipe it and cut it, and you could eat it, and it will stay, and there's
So
no gelatin.
what is the sorcery that you use, Stephen? Are
So
you going
you
to share
can
your
do
secret
that, but
mousse recipe?
I'm just making a note here. Ask
Ask
Stephen
Steve.
for his mousse recipe if I ever get in the tent.
So with Guillaume's, I think out of all of these bakes, these signatures today or last night, I think that Guillaume's would be the one that I would go for.
Flavor wise?
Yes, like
Those,
caramelized bananas, love.
yeah.
Coconut, love. Like everything about it, I loved it.
Mhm.
And I thought to myself, if I were to make this signature, what would I do? I certainly wouldn't go the way of fruit, but I thought I would do a Vietnamese egg coffee tiramisu. And what they do is basically they take really strong espresso and then they do a condensed egg yolk foam on top of it. And it is like custardy and delicious. And you just sort of mix it in with the coffee. It is the most velvety, beautiful thing. And on top of that, they also do a Vietnamese coconut cream coffee.
Oh.
So he's got like the coconut thing, he's got the banana thing. So I think he was heading in the right direction. And this flavor combination is amazing.
Yeah.
100%.
So I think it was just a poor choice in vessel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if he had an extra 10 minutes, I think he might have been able to pull it off.
Or a glass chiller.
Yeah.
Well,
or
yeah, because he had it in the freezer. He was trying to get it. I mean, and that might have not gotten to the center of it anyway.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if he just did little of an individual ones, I mean, the whole thing was beautiful, right? Before the acetate came off, it was like just such a beautiful presentation. And had he pulled it off, he wouldn't have been in the position he ended up being in.
Yeah,
but it was huge.
Yeah.
Right. Even if it did like a 6-inch version of that, or maybe they actually, again, maybe the brief said that it had to be 8 inches or bigger, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, no, because they had individual ones. Right?
They had individual ones.
Yeah. True. Yeah. It was delicious sounding. Yeah. I'd eat that all day long.
Yeah.
Ask him to make one for you.
And here's a question for you guys, Stephen and Vincent, who've been in the tent and have had to pivot bakes and stuff before. I mean, he probably was aware that it was going to be a real risk with his mascarpone component and the mousse that it wasn't going to set for him in time. Would you have pivoted and done individuals, or is it too late to do it at that point?
For that one, I think it would have been a little late. What I did think that may be possible is if you took a trifle bowl and put it on top of it and flip the whole damn thing.
Right.
But then you'd have the bottom on the top, and then the judges would comment on that, blah, blah, blah. So, but
and
or
dip
it in the trifle bowl. Or just put it together in the trifle bowl instead of doing it in the acetate.
Yeah. I like that he took that,
especially because you don't know exactly when in the bake that things were becoming apparent to him, and also you're so into it that you don't even know to pivot sometimes. You're just, especially if you've, I assume he practiced it once or twice at least and did it, and it set and it was okay, and so in your head it's going to work. It's just it's not that I'm pushing it. I've seen it work. It's worked. It's going to work again.
Yeah.
He knew he was running out of time. Like he said, I don't have enough time for this to set.
Yeah.
So he knew. But at that point, yes, I think it may have been a smart idea to pivot. Yeah. But, you have to hope, right? You're in the tent, magic happens. You have to just hope. It does. It happens all the time.
I lived on magic.
He created magic.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, seeing Guillaume's face when they took the acetate off and that side just started to.
It held initially. It was like when the coyote runs off the cliff and he doesn't know he's off the cliff.
Oh, so and it's hanging in the air.
Yeah, when they took the acetate off, it's like it didn't know the acetate was off, so it just sat there, and then it realized, oh, the acetate's gone.
Yeah.
And then we all went, oh,
Oh, yeah.
we all felt Guillaume's
Yeah.
pain at that moment.
I can tell you because I've been exactly where he was. And that face, those feelings, you just deflate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then after the Showstopper and he did his little voice thing, his video thing, and he basically, you can tell he was upset clearly.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And he said that, I just have to, get over it and move on.
Yeah.
I've been there. I said exactly the same thing. And it takes a lot for a person to just sort of get over it and move on.
Take it off. Yeah.
And because of my competitive sports training and all the stuff that I've had all my life, I was able to just shake it off pretty quickly. I gave myself, I think I told you guys in my interview with you, I gave myself a 5-minute pity party and I got over it. It's like, I'm allowing myself 5 minutes to cry and do whatever you want to do and feel sorry for yourself and then get off your ass and kill that technical.
Yeah.
Because you do not want to go in to Showstopper the next day pooching your signature, not doing well on your technical, because all night with the 3 hours of sleep that you get, you are stressing out because tomorrow if I don't do it, tomorrow if I don't do it, tomorrow if I don't do it, you are going to lose your mind.
Yeah.
So that was always a rule for me. At least go home with at least one good bake so that you don't have to worry so much about the next day.
Yeah.
Because if you let it get to you, you're going to fail.
Mhm.
Next day.
Yeah. So he knew
That's
he
all I have
had
to say. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad.
No, it's great.
Even and the truth is, even if you have two bad ones, then you still got to let it go. I mean, and my experience was caramel week, right? I flopped my Florentines and then I came in second last in the donuts, and I told myself, barring a miracle, I'm going home. So I'm just going to have an amazing showstopper, and I'm going to have fun today because there's no pressure. I'm going home or I'm not.
Yeah.
And that's how you have to. You're 100% right, Vince. So no matter what happens, and have the pity if you need to, but you got to cut and move.
Yeah.
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 Feel what you're feeling, acknowledge it, and
Acknowledge it.
then let it go through you.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Acknowledge
Yeah.
it and be okay with it being there, or bring it into the tent with you the next day and say, okay, you are a part of my life today, and it's okay. You can just hang out over here and just sit your ass down and just be quiet.
Watch this happen
and
now.
let me do my job, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So anyway, love you, Guillaume.
Yeah,
Oh.
we all love you, Guillaume.
Mm.
Yeah. All of our hearts broke at that moment when we saw his face.
It's like somebody's cake falling over, right? At the judging table. Like it just goes sideways and you just like everybody's heart breaks. Everybody who's watching it on television, everybody who's in the tent, everybody's heart breaks.
Mhm.
Except for the producers. They love it.
Look at Cristina. I mean,
I'm sure they're not hoping that that's going to
No, they
happen.
don't hope.
No, but if it's leaning at that point, they're hoping it's going to maybe fall.
That's right. They
It's
don't get
already
10 cameras
leaning.
on
It
it.
might as well
because
fall.
you gotta
And then
look
that's
at
when
it
it
from the
goes
point
into
of view.
slow-mo, right? And then you just
Yeah.
see it go. Ooh.
Well, did you see that British version, that British show, that one season where they were all outside of the tent and they walking past the tent?
Yes, and
And then they watched the cake on the inside.
Yes.
Just go like this.
that was the worst. That was so hard to watch.
Oh
It's
my
one of those
God.
things where you're just sitting there going like, this can't be real. Like,
Yeah.
can we just like rewind time so that can just not have happened?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
think about it. I mean, I don't know about you guys because you guys are all amazing bakers, but that's happened to me. My son's birthday cake.
Yeah.
And my son's birthday is really important for a lot of reasons, but really important. And he loves Black Forest cake, and it was super hot. He was born on the first day of summer. I'll just share this really quick story, but it ended up being like a total disaster zone. So I put the whole cake together. Everything
Forest
was
cake.
kind of loose, and then you just see everything was just sliding, and it looked like a horror show on a platter on my cake plate. It was terrible. It was terrible. And I felt so horrible because, like I said, it's such an important day for him, and I wanted to make it as special as possible. And I failed miserably as a mother.
No, you did not.
Oh,
Stop that. You made him a cake.
I'm sure at some point he'll forgive you.
I
Eventually.
have the following year I did a redemption cake, which was worked out really, really well. But still,
That's a
you just
step in the right direction. And like I said, one day it'll all be good.
yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's fine. He still bugs me. We laugh about it now. It's been a few years. So
So
we
you
laugh.
guys
you
saw the.
you baked him and he came out real nice. So there you go.
There you
Oh,
go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's so
Oh,
sweet of you to
boy.
say. Aw,
That's
you're
lovely.
lovely. Thank
He
you.
didn't even need dowels.
Right? That was before I learned about dowels.
Yeah. You guys all saw the wedding cake that I made with the mountain range
Mhm.
made that I just posted recently. So when I was driving, so the two bottom tiers are were regular gluten full, dairy full, but the top tier was a gluten-free, dairy-free dark chocolate with mint filling. Everything, and then of course the top of the next tier down was all dairy-free also because it was touching it. And I was driving it to the reception in a rainstorm, and I stopped to check it, and the whole entire top tier had slid and was smushed up against the side of the box, and it's such soft frosting, this dairy-free butter that I used, right? Because even though I took it straight out of the refrigerator,
It's
but
super
it's
soft.
so
Yeah.
soft. So I'm panicking, and I got it all set up. And I was like, okay, it's good. I like placed the, greenery and everything, and it looked fine. And it looked like it was kind of starting to lean a little bit. And I was like, I don't know why it's doing that. That's weird. But anyway, I left it. It was good. And then I checked in a few hours later, and the wedding planner was like, yeah, the cake started to lean, so we had to change the timing of their cake cutting. So they did it early because the whole cake looked like it was gonna fall off the table. And I was
No.
horrified, could not figure. I'm like, I don't understand. Like maybe something happened when I hit, had that little mishap in the car or whatever. But see, don't say that I'm too good to have it happen to me. My dowels were broken in my bottom tier. Two of them, it was me being stupid. I was like, I have not a tall enough dowel with the things that I have left. So I put a piece of dowel and then another piece of dowel in. That's not going to support it. Stupid,
That
stupid
doesn't
Lisa.
work.
no.
So, and I soaked that cake like crazy with the Kirsch syrup. So
It's
yeah, no wonder it leaned. So yeah, it's not
And
not
did
just you.
you said you were transporting it? You transported it assembled as a tiered cake?
No, the
No.
bottom two tiers were assembled. Or
Oh.
sorry, the top two were assembled and the
Mm.
bottom was separate. I
Always,
couldn't, no,
always,
not with the
always
dairy.
assemble on site, assemble on
If
site.
I had had time, I would have, but with the dairy free, with that soft icing, and I had
Oh
no
gosh.
no secure way of moving it on to the next tier without the risk of contamination. I wanted to make sure that
mm,
that was put
ah,
together
right.
appropriately and like stabbed through. That wasn't that, yeah, that was it was actually the whole two top tiers that moved together as a unit, but because it was so soft, yeah. It was not a disaster. They said it tasted amazing, but I was horrified that they paid me good money for this cake and they had to
Mhm.
change their schedule because of the leaning of the cake. So, yes, lesson learned. Don't be stupid and try to use little pieces of dowel to make one dowel because obviously that's not going to. Obviously.
Let's just let's
So
just
good
put
thing.
shards of wood in your cake.
Worst
Yeah,
case
why not?
scenario, if it had toppled over, everybody just grab a spoon and
There
start
we
digging.
go.
That's what we ended up doing with the birthday cake, by the
Yeah,
way. That's
exactly.
how we
They
ended
did
up doing it.
say they said it was just funny and it tasted really
Yeah,
good and they were all happy. So
good
that was good.
memories.
Thank goodness. But yeah, that's my baking scrap. And hopefully I don't have another one for a while. Baking crap.
Yeah, I got. Anyway, yeah, I have a I
Yes,
have a story for you guys at some other point about
not public.
my experience on the holiday special where I basically didn't drop the cake, but I certainly made it go over on its top.
Oh,
Yeah, so
yeah.
that was fun for me.
It's so stressful. And that was a heavy, heavy, heavy. Anyway, we move on.
Yeah.
Let's move
Yes.
on to the
Technical.
technical. I
No,
can
we still have a Laura.
No, we
Oh,
didn't we
Yeah,
talk
we
about
talked about
Alora's
Laura.
We
Blackberry? Oh,
talked
we
about
didn't
it very
talk about
quickly.
what they said. Yes.
Yes.
So
They said
dramatic.
elegant, dramatic, like the pipette,
Hmm.
coffee forward.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That coffee caviar is a good idea. I'm glad that they
Yes.
both had that idea, but it's such a cool thing to do and it
Any
adds
caviar, which
such.
I have yet to make and I'm dying to make.
I know.
Yeah,
I've got
it's
all this
fun.
stuff. I've got the agar to actually do it. I've had it in my pantry for whatever, however
Yeah.
long. And yeah,
Yeah.
I've not done it yet.
I've done
I
it. I've
want to.
had them kind of melt some of them,
Mm,
but it's fun to do. I haven't done it with coffee, but I think I would love it with
yeah.
coffee. Yeah.
So fun. Yeah.
Mm. All
Cool.
right.
Cool.
Moving on to the technical, the milk tart.
Jiggle, 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 jiggle.
Are we all gonna jiggle?
Give us some jiggle.
We gotta jiggle. And we gotta do the guns too, right? Just for Vincent.
Oh, sorry. I've got full sleeves.
We have to wait for that. We have to wait for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
All right.
milk tart, South African.
Okay, milk turd. All I kept on hearing is milk turd.
Oh no.
I was like, turd? Why are they making turd? Who wants a turd?
Doesn't sound quite as appetizing, does it?
Oh, it sounds horrible.
It
I'm making a
really
long
sounds
run on
horrible.
milk turd.
Oh,
Anyway,
So this actually sounds really tasty, delicious as well. So
I'm
yeah, so
looking
it's
forward to making this one.
yeah, same here. Same here.
I think I might make it with Thai tea though, because I have some beautiful Thai tea that I got, and I'm not going to go source some rooibos when I just don't happen to have it, and I have all kinds of other tea at
Yeah.
home.
I
So
think I'm gonna do mine with chai, considering nobody used chai this week.
yeah, surprising actually. Now that you
Yeah, because
mention it,
and I'm not a
that's a
big
strong
Robust fan.
flavor.
what'd you say,
Chai?
Vincent?
I'm not a big Robust fan anyway, so I
No, me
think
neither.
Thai tea would be as awesome.
Yeah, Thai tea. I'm looking forward to. So this is it. They had 2 hours to make it. It's a pâte sablé crust with macadamias and layers of rooibos and vanilla custards
Hmm.
and a macadamia brittle, which all sounds very delicious.
Mhm.
Um, so I didn't have many notes, except I have to say, when Guillaume was whisking, I thought they were speeding it up the way that they sped
Right?
up Anne and
Holy
Alan at the
speed,
beginning of
man.
the show when they were so highly caffeinated. And he was whisking, and I was like, what are they doing? Why is it going so fast? No, it was just Guillaume.
Yep. He was just like
Yeah.
So fast. It was
Very
great.
impressive.
very
That
impressive whiskey.
that beginning bit with Ann and Alan was pretty funny. Oh man, that had me on the floor. That was pretty funny.
The
Yeah.
puns were pretty good this episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing a good job with their openers, actually,
Yeah.
I think. The last few. I mean, I don't remember the first one, but yeah, they've been good.
Yeah, they did
So
very good.
Pamela wanted to make it heckin' strong tea taste. She was like, well, it's tea and coffee week. We're going to make sure that this rooibos flavor is really coming through. I was a little bit, so you guys tell me if I've got this wrong, because I um, was watching Guillaume kneading his tart dough. He said, I
And
want
screaming at the
to knead.
TV.
Thank you. Okay. I
Yeah.
was like, what
We
are
don't
you?
need dough.
Less handling the better
Yeah.
for
And
pastry.
did you hear and you heard what he said when he was rolling it out? It's fighting me back. And I'm yelling at the
Exactly.
TV going, well, because you're
Well,
developing
yeah.
gluten. Of course it's fighting you back.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah.
was worrisome for sure. And
What
then you
kind
thought
of dough was that? Was it a sablé or was it
it's a
a?
sablé.
Lovely.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
it had the macadamias in it as well. So that added all that extra like
I don't
but
I don't think that sablé will be affected by over kneading because
really?
it has nuts in it, so it's gonna be pretty soft. I think it's more of a type of dough where you can actually just press it into
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So you
don't
don't
think over kneading will do anything because I don't think there's a lot of flour in there to make it tough.
But isn't it more about the butter as well? Doesn't it have something to do with whatever fat you're using in there? Because it gets really greasy if you start messing with it. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I did
Well,
print
I
out the
could be
recipe.
wrong. What do
Yeah,
I know?
no, I'm just curious. Like for me, when I'm making any kind of tart case or pie or anything like that, I'm not touching it any more than I absolutely have to. And I'm keeping like, parchment paper between the rolling pin and the dough. I don't want to be,
Most of them did
and
that.
yeah, and then flipping it into the pan on the parchment paper. So you're really not handling it any more than necessary. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I make, like, let's say pâte sucrée, right?
Mhm.
I do it exactly the same way. Parchment paper, pâte sucrée, parchment paper, and I roll it out
Yeah.
evenly. And
Okay.
then I flip it into my tin. Inevitably, it does break a little bit, but I just press it in.
Yeah, you can just
And
swish it together.
I'm a big fan of that type of dough to be not super thin, but thin, right? You know how you have the ridges or the crimps around the tart pan.
Yes.
I go and I push into each individual indent
Oh, it
so
must look
that it's
so
not
beautiful.
like not smooth on the inside and then
Wow.
greasy on the outside. I make sure that it is indented all the way around, and I did that on on the show when I did my tart. And yeah, I just like those type of shells to be very, very thin.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
impressive.
that's just me.
No, I think that would be lovely. I'd be terrified of it breaking.
As it's baked well, it won't break.
Hopefully.
I'm like, I could just compliment you, say, you obviously it'll be baked well because you baked it.
That's why I only use tart rings. Only.
Yeah. Yeah. Tart rings. Well, do you use a tart ring for like a big tart like this?
Yep. I
Oh,
have large tart rings for that too.
Oh, okay.
nice.
Take it on a perforated silpat
Perforated,
and
yeah.
off you go to the races.
Yep.
Well, are you going to make this one?
It depends. Depends when Vincent's making it and if I get an invitation, because I missed out on the buns, so maybe these ones I'll get to eat. Who knows?
I'm not making this one.
No.
I'm not making any turds.
You're not making the turds. No milk turds for you.
Oh, the showstopper is even worse than the turd. It was a all fecal matter thing for me this week.
Oh no.
Oh, Vincent, you just ruined the showstopper for all of us.
Oh, so this is not coffee and tea week, it's poop week. Okay, I hope nobody's eating while they're listening. Let's talk about the caramel for the macadamia brittle. I was kind of interested at how people were saying that it was difficult to know when it was done because the tea was already a dark color, an amber color, and so it was difficult to know when the caramel. But Jen was like, no, it needs to reach 300, and I was curious as to whether that was something that she just knows off the top of her head or if that was in the instructions. Didn't seem like it was in the instructions because everybody else seemed to be really struggling. Meanwhile, she's like, it's at 297. Oh, it's at 3, and there we go. Popped it off, and she was just like knowing that it's done. Another thing I'm writing down, 300.
It's
Do you guys know
right
that
on your
off the top of your head?
right on your candy thermometer. It's written right on there.
I don't have a candy thermometer.
How do you make sponge toffee?
How do I make sponge toffee?
Mm-hmm.
I use my infrared thermometer, but I don't make sponge toffee very often. I've tried many different thermometers that never seem to work for me, and I just don't have any luck with it.
Those big rectangular ones with the clip, those are just, as long as you have a lot.
I need to get
otherwise,
a good
I'm an infrared guy, but when I make like a big batch of something, I love just clamping that bad boy on.
And the nice thing about, I don't know about yours, but mine has like a beeping sensor as well. So if it's getting close to the temperature, it actually beeps at me. So, which is great because you could be multitasking, doing all sorts of other stuff. And then when it's like I think it's about 2 or 3 degrees before it actually hits the temperature you've set it for, it'll actually beep at you. Basically, come back.
That's what I need. I need one like that because all the different ones that I have tried are just sitting in my drawer useless.
I use the one with the flip, the instant read.
Yeah.
I always find that is my most accurate thermometer. But do you guys ever have trouble with those horrible metal clips that are supposed to clip to
Hold
the
it in
side of the
place.
thing and hold it in place? Do you ever have trouble with that?
I did until I figured out how to actually work with it. And now that I know what the trick is, it actually is fine. But when I first got it, I was like, how does this even work? But it's just an adjustment thing, right? So it depends.
Yes.
Again, it's just making sure that the thermometer or the reader part is
In the correct position.
in the correct position.
Yeah, inevitably though, it's like you're mixing and you'll knock it and then it just slides and it'll fall off and whatever. But I got this little thing. It is absolutely fantastic. It's a heart it's a shape of a heart. It's silicone. And
Marcus would like it.
Goes in, yes, he would. And it goes onto your pan. You know what? Just hang on.
Okay.
It's right here. It's right here.
He's in the kitchen, so it's okay.
I'm opening up my Amazon app while he's going.
Yeah, and I'm
getting ready to hit purchase
I
now.
should have put that on my birthday wish list, man.
So this is not something that all the listeners are going to know about, but here it is.
Oh, okay. So
to hold your pen read thermometer,
right? Pen read thermometer. This goes in there like in the butt cheek.
Oh,
and then this goes right into your pan. Like it's this. Now, oops, and it holds it really tight, and the bottom of it goes onto your pan.
Oh.
That, and this sits anywhere, and it holds it perfectly.
Okay.
Who gave you that?
Great thing.
Really cool.
Buy it.
What's it called? Heart thermometer holder?
I don't know. Silicone thermometer holder. I don't know.
I'm sure if you did a search like that, something will come up. They're really good. Those search.
I love that. That's
functions.
great. Yeah, search functions.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's great.
Awesome.
I love it. This is the kind of thing that we are fascinated by. And I mean, if anybody's watching us, unless they're my son who's just watching to support me, hi Eric, I love you. You're actually interested in all of this kind of stuff. So.
Yes, and Christmas is coming.
Yes, exactly. Great little stocking stuffer.
It is.
Definitely.
It is. They are. Okay, sorry.
No, it's all good. I really enjoyed Erica bashing her macadamias with a rolling pin and just saying, I don't like chopping. Just smash. We just love you, Erica. You're so much fun.
And Rita with her pudding comment. So it's just, it's actually, she goes, time to make my pudding. And then she's like, well, actually custard, that's fancy pudding.
That was pretty good. And so there were two different kinds of fancy puddings.
No.
And I really loved the way that Elora was piping hers. Guillaume didn't seem to have enough. So he was, after he had put the coffee custard down or tea custard down, he was trying to kind of use a little offset spatula to bring the vanilla to cover the rest of it. And I was kind of like, oh no, like I think that's the point where I texted you, Cristina, and I said, I think I'm predicting who's going home today, and it makes me really sad.
Yeah.
But you could also read the body language with Guillaume, and it was kind of like, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to lose it. Right. And it's sad when somebody feels that, because all you want to do is just give them a hug.
Yeah, give them a hug and set them back out there.
Yeah, you just need a hug, and then you can move on.
You can do this. You can do this.
But Pamela's the overall thing was like her custard was a little bit overcooked, and it was a bit rubbery. You could see that it was just overcooked. And,
it's separation, but overcooked and sunken.
Sunken. Yeah. Rubbery mousse. So she came in 7th, and then
that was crap, according to her.
It was crap?
It was crap. That was crap.
She came in 7th, or her actual technical was crap?
Technical, but also the fact that she came in last. And you know what? Again, the same feeling I had for Guillaume when they pulled off the acetate and it started running. I had the exact same feeling for poor Pamela when she yet again was last in the technical.
She had the same look on her face. You could see how disappointed she was.
I hurt so bad for her. at that moment
I know.
because we know how great a baker she is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
Well.
technicals are not our friend.
Yeah.
As someone who lost 3 technicals in a row, I will tell you, to any aspiring tent bakers out there, don't worry about it. I won 4 out of 5, but I lost 3 in a row. Same. It feels better to win. There's no question. It's a technical. Move on. It's okay.
Yeah.
So when you say you lost, Stephen, were you like in last?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. In the semifinal, the finale, and in the holiday baking show, 3 in a row.
Oh.
Last. And
No, not in the finale.
yes. There was only
Oh
3
yeah,
of
you
us.
were. Sorry.
There were 3 of us, and as I predicted before the finale, I said I just don't want to come lower than 3rd, and nailed it. And in the, I guess it was the quarterfinal, I came in 2nd last.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Like ridiculous. So it doesn't matter. You don't want to do poorly. I mean, they all matter, but and it can get into your psyche, but don't let it. Just don't let it. It's the technical. Move on.
Yeah.
I think I think for Pamela it was very much I compare it to when I golf, right? When I go golfing and I have like a really good front 9, I'm killing it. I'm like, for me, shooting par on the front 9 is like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think, okay, if I could just hold it together, I can break 80 today, right? Type of thing. And then you go on the 10th hole and you shoot a 10. And then you go on the 11th hole and you shoot double. Yeah. And there goes your whole round and you are completely disappointed and pissed, right? Mm-hmm. So I can see that that's the look on her face, and that's how I compare it to. Yeah. It's like you have a great, signature, and then all of a sudden you just completely pooch the technical.
Yeah.
But in the long run, it's the same thing as a round of golf, right? Especially when we're not, CPGA touring professionals. Like it matters, but it doesn't matter. Like in the grand scheme of things, same, winning doesn't matter. Winning the technical doesn't matter. Feels good. Losing the technical feels horrible. Doesn't matter. Like in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't make them any better of a baker or worse of a baker. It doesn't show the world that they are not good at doing anything, and does not have anything to do with their value as a person.
No, but what they're feeling at the time is
100% valid.
I don't want to leave my friends. It's not even I don't want to go home. I don't want to leave my friends. That's every time you're baking in there. You don't want to blow it because you don't want to leave your friends. And that's the overall feeling that anyone's having whenever they're having a lousy bake.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
But we appreciate them all.
Yeah.
So Rita came in 6th. Crust wasn't cooked quite enough. It was quite pale. And it didn't have a lot of tea flavor.
But she got a good jiggle.
She had a good jiggle.
Jiggle.
Guillaume's was also pale, but good jiggle.
Good jiggle. Yeah, Guillaume knew how to shake it.
His bottom shell had no flavor. They said that was because it was undercooked, but everything else was great. So that's unfortunate. I mean, it's good to get the positive feedback, but it can get overshadowed by the unfortunate reality of the undercooked crust.
Yeah. Have a little sad emoji beside the comment.
Yeah. It was all sad. It's really hard. Like every week it's just getting harder and harder. I mean, it's been hard the whole time because we just, like we said, fell in love with everybody
everybody's amazing.
Yeah, everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Erica, her edges were a little rough. The first layer of custard didn't set enough before the second was piped on, but it was great texture and flavor. So she came in 4th. And then we had Marcus, who was 3rd, with some custards bled together again because his tea custard layer was a little bit thin, but he had really nice color on his tart shell. And then it was the drum roll between Jen and Alora. And Alora took it. Even though her tart shell was too dark, she had good jiggle, good layer separation, and good flavor. And Jen just didn't have enough flavor, so she had a perfect bake on her tart, but the flavor was just not there. And I guess in tea week, that is important. Yeah. I
Sure.
thought everybody's looked beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to know where we can get those flowers.
Yeah, when I bake this, I will not be having fresh florals on my tart.
Yeah. I'm going to probably make some wafer paper ones or something
That's what I
because I
was
want it
thinking.
to look
Yeah,
the same.
yeah, it won't be real.
Yeah. Nope. Nope, unfortunately.
But yeah.
And
So,
then everybody went and had a good night's sleep. Sorry, go ahead, Christina.
oh, I was just going to say, at that stage, I think the top bakers that were emerging were definitely Marcus and Alora,
Yeah.
according to the judges. And then the ones that were at risk were Guy and Rita. And for two different reasons. Guy
And Erica, I
Erica
think.
and Erica.
and Erica.
They said Erica, yeah.
So Guy was taking a lot of the risk, but it was just not paying off for him. And Rita, the judges felt that she wasn't taking enough risks, actually, with her flavors or different things that she was showing with technique.
Balance.
So
Yeah. So then the showstopper, the
Showstopper.
Fika.
Fika, Fika, Vincent.
I had to Google it. I had to pause it and say, okay, what is this? I need to know what's going on. What am I in for now?
I didn't know what a Fika was either.
Yeah. It actually is a play on the word coffee, which means coffee.
Oh, coffee.
So they just interspersed or transposed it. I don't know. Coffee, fika. So
Like coffee time, right?
coffee time.
So, yeah.
Yes.
So coffee break or
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah. I was really interested how Jen said, what did she say? The way that she put it, turns out my husband and I have been doing fika since we started dating. And I was like, did you
say
just
that on the
realize that?
CBC?
You know what I mean? I was trying to figure out if that was something that she had not realized what she was doing or, you know?
I end up with 3 kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Fika and chill. Netflix and fika. What do you say?
Yeah. So this is an ambitious showstopper, actually, because it consisted of having cookies, buns, and a cake in 3 hours and 45 minutes.
It was a lot.
It's
Yeah.
a lot is right.
It was a lot. And I wrote down here with like 3 exclamation marks, stressful and WTF with the titles. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I couldn't
Like-
even write them down. I thought
I
I'd
didn't
let you
even-
guys
I didn't
handle
even
I started
bother.
writing them down.
I
and it was
did
just
not
like,
even
why am I
bother.
writing these titles down? Like, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy. Just writing the titles was enough to like put me over the edge.
But the fact that the fact that a lot of them made the princess cake, which was a
Yes.
showstopper years ago unto itself, and
Yeah.
that's only a component of this
Yeah.
bake. It's like, really?
Then you needed a yeasted bun and cookies to go
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
I know, crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy that let's just look at what everybody made because
Yeah.
I was it's so much to talk about and
Yeah.
I mean I'm glad they had 3 hours and 45 minutes but then at the same time they only had 3 hours and 45 minutes and that's just astounding to me. So what was your favorite?
What do you mean? Overall? Or just like
Overall,
the
like,
favorite
who's-
out of favorite one thing out of all of the things that happened?
Oh sure, if you have a favorite out of all of the things or do you have a favorite entire fika?
I definitely think that the best thing last night was Marcus's bread.
Yeah, the
Yes.
puff pastry
Mm.
buns.
Oh my
Puff pastry,
It's crazy.
brioche.
amazing.
Again, like the puff pastry king
Yeah.
of the tent this
So
year.
beautiful.
Like absolutely stunning. And then I'm not sure if anybody follows him on Instagram. This weekend he posted like 2 beautiful, perfect Wellingtons. That he just I just whipped this up on a Saturday or whatever it was. I'm like, oh my God. But the guy knows how to work puff pastry at laminated doughs. I mean, he is the king of laminated doughs. Amazing.
Yes.
So
And to
Absolutely.
be able to do it in such a short period of time and that
While he's
quality.
while he's also making a cake and
Yeah.
cookies.
a princess
Right.
cake too, right? He made the princess cake.
But
Mhm.
but the and Pamela's, aside from the flavors of Pamela's cake and the way her cake looked, the fact that she had to make it a second time blew me away.
Yeah.
How, because she said she had extra batter to make it a second.
Yeah.
What kind of leavening is she using that she can make a second cake? Then the leavening is not completely like finished by the time you put it in the oven, right? Like, who leaves batter sitting out for half an hour, 45 minutes?
That's a good question. I mean, maybe she put it in the fridge too. That's plausible.
That's a possibility.
Because that would stop, like, as long as you didn't have any. It depends on how quickly the first cake baked for, and then when she tried to unmold it. Thank you. I'm like, what is the word? When she tried to unmold it and it came out in a couple of pieces, you know, I don't know, because it wasn't a big cake, so it could have been like a 20-minute bake, and I think your batter is going to be fine for 20 minutes, especially if you didn't add any hot liquid to it, because that's what's going to get the leavening agents.
Well, that's baking soda. I mean, baking powder.
Baking powder's heat.
Yeah, but baking soda might be a bit different. I'm not sure what was going on there.
Yeah. But that's a good question.
I'm really hopeful that they're going to post it.
Yeah.
Well, clearly it was.
They should. I mean, Kyla said it may have been the best cake she's ever eaten.
Right?
Like, and weren't we all waiting because they showed that clip and like, okay, so whose cake? What cake is she talking about? When are we gonna? And when she had to rebake her cake, I just thought, let it be that cake. Let it be the cake that had to be baked a second time where you don't have time. If that's the one, that's perfect.
Yes. Yeah. It was great. The flavors sounded so good. I loved her cookies. I thought they were so beautiful, those coffee cream cookies. I don't know if that's what a cloud is supposed to taste like. I didn't know that clouds were supposed to have a taste, but it's still,
I would have thought they would have been more marshmallowy.
Yeah. Yeah. The cookies just looked so beautiful. I thought everything about her fika merienda was beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So well deserved for such high praise that she got there. Beautiful texture on the buns. I loved the mocha ganache. Like when she was pouring it on, I was just like, oh, that just looks so beautiful. It was such a very simple and elegant presentation. I thought it looked really gorgeous.
Well, that's the other thing that I really appreciated about Pamela's bake, actually, is that nothing was over the top crazy. It was all about the flavor and then just the perfect textures. And so it was all about the bake. It was all about that. And everything looked beautiful, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't the, you know, like Jen's princess tart was so stunningly beautiful. Like the amount of time to do all that piping, that would have taken a long time. So when you look at those, like if you were to look at the two cakes, like to your point, Stephen, like, you know, what cake are they talking about? And then you put the two cakes side by side and got somebody to choose what they were most excited to try without knowing anything about flavors, right? But just by look alone, I would think that most people would look at the princess cake and go, I want to try a piece of that one because it's so pretty. Like you eat with your eyes first, in a sense, not taking anything away from the look of the cake, but it was definitely a more simple. It was simple. It was elegant. It was perfection.
That's what appealed to me more.
Reminded me of Rafakat and her bakes in the tent.
Yeah,
she had really, you know, simple bakes, but they were elegant, but they were perfect. Everything that she made. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, flavors were good. Reminded me of Vincent. Very, very elegant simplicity.
Yes, for sure. Vincent's even got like a little like
pizzazz.
Yeah, you always have that extra. It's like the elegance, but it's
always
it's
a flourish. Vincent will always give you a flourish.
It's clean and beautiful, but yes,
and a heart.
And
yes, always a heart.
Always a heart.
Always a heart.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Everything that Pamela put out there was just like absolutely beautiful.
It looked very delicious.
Yes.
It really did.
Buns, what were her buns like? They were tea buns, right?
They were mate du thé.
Yeah.
So What color were those buns? Were they just bun color?
They were bun color.
Bun
They
color?
were
But, you
brownie,
know, bun
brownie
color.
bun.
Because I think that her whole fika display was very monochromatic,
It
It
was.
was.
right?
Correct.
It was very like chocolate and brown. So
Yeah. I liked that about it.
Jen's was like vibrant.
Color.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were a lot that were like that. Elora's was also, excuse me, Elora's was also kind of vibrant. She had
Mhm.
her pinwheel cookies as well and then the rose bun. Yeah, there was a lot of bright color coming from Elora and coming from Jen.
Yeah. I love Dolores fruit tea fika.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I thought
I
she
would
did
despise that bun. I would not want to eat that bun, but I was because it
Oh.
was rose flavored.
and it had raisins in it too.
Yeah, well, I was okay with the raisins.
It had
But
raisins?
Yeah.
she said raisins and
Raisins.
peta,
The sweet pumpkin.
Sweet
sweet
pumpkin.
pumpkin. Yeah, candied
That
sweet
sounded
pumpkin
great.
or dried candy made of sweet pumpkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be interested in tasting those.
It's very sweet,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be.
really sweet.
Yeah,
But
and then
then
you put the
I
rose.
find that a lot of the South Asian desserts are very sweet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That, you know, whenever there's somebody who's South Asian on the show, I'm always kind of like, oh my God, they have such an advantage because their bakes are always so beautiful and so colorful and so vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at them, it's just like looking at like this garden of, you know, beautiful flowers, right? I mean, so she doesn't disappoint. I mean, her stuff is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And she's probably one of the most consistent bakers, I think, across all like technical, signature, showstopper. She's like pretty darn consistently good.
Everything
Actually.
that she's done, everything that she's done
Amazing.
has been beautiful. She did an excellent job on all 3 challenges this time around. So yeah, there was a little less of a focus on Elora this week, but I think it's just because Pamela absolutely knocked it out of the park with that cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they just said that while we're on Elora, they just said it was her cake needed more tea flavor, I guess.
Right.
Her buns were pillowy and with a good flavor, and she got the rose perfect, which I love. And the cookie was buttery and tasty.
That's great.
That
And
sounds
clean flavors.
Clean
I like
flavors.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
But there was this one part, very subtle. They said something about like, so are you stressed out? And then she looked up at, I think it was either Alan or Anne, and her eye twitched. And it was, I don't know if it was on purpose. I was kind of like, no, I'm fine.
I missed that. Oh.
Yeah, watch it again. It was very funny. It was a very funny quick little thing. It was very funny.
Yeah, her humor is very different from some of the other bakers. It's great when you catch it.
Yeah. She's very cute.
I was fascinated by Rita's paran kaka. She mangled the pronunciation, so I can do it too. The pear cardamom cake with the whole pears sticking up out of the cake. I love the combination of pears and cardamom.
Yeah.
And I understood why Kyla and Bruno were a little bit nervous about that bake with the whole pears.
Those were some giant pears. I was nervous. So I was thinking you might want to poach a little bit before you put them in there. Yeah. But it turns out they were cooked perfectly as the cake was as well. So
just needed a little bit more cardamom.
That is a pretty common bake to have the whole pears in your cake. But if you looked at it when they cut it open, like the cake part actually really separated from the actual pear. So it was okay. I don't think I would ever bake a whole fruit in that because I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like having that much fruit. Like I like little pieces of fruit all around, but not a whole slice of fruit.
Not a whole pear. Yeah, got it.
It's got to make the batter a little
wet.
Moist. Yeah. Right? Gummy.
Gimme.
And I haven't heard gummy yet.
Yes. There was gummy.
What's going on with the no gummy thing? Maybe because you were making fun of him, Stephen.
Me?
Yeah.
Making fun of anybody.
What I really wanted to try though was Rita's strawberry coffee jitterbug cookies. Those sounded quite good with the shortbread cookie with the meringue. Like that combination
Oh, I'm
of
sorry.
textures. I know, Lisa, you'd be out on this one.
Both of those are like, no. I still love the idea of it, but I don't want to put it in my mouth. Like, oh, the shivers right now.
Well, and like Rita referred to them, they're not lookers, they're tasters. And I think they would be very, very tasty combination. And this one, actually, the only thing that I was a little off on maybe is the strawberry and coffee combo that she did for it. But I'd be willing to try that. But it really did sound fascinating. And I think that's what I think it was either Kyla or Roberto.
Was very fascinated with them.
That said it was a fascinating cookie. And they were really intrigued by her whole selection of what she actually put forward for her fika.
Yeah, they said people will be fighting over those mocha buns.
And that's what I would want. That's what you give me that all day long.
Mocha, anything, I'm there.
Yes, 100%. Fist bump,
So
Steve.
I was looking down, taking notes while that was all happening with the cookies.
Yeah.
How did you catch how exactly is it a cookie dough with meringue?
I looked it up.
What happened there?
I looked it up afterwards. So it's like swirl cookies, when you basically like filled cookies that you roll up to, what are they called again? Pinwheel cookies or something, and then you slice them and bake them.
Oh, okay.
So it's a layer of the shortbread and then a layer of meringue, and then you roll it all up together, slice it, and then you just have them sitting there like these little pinwheels basically, and then you bake it like that.
How in the world do you get like shortbread to roll over meringue without it just oozing out everywhere?
I do not know. I looked it up very quickly online and was like, oh, I didn't even think about the fact that I don't like shortbread and I don't like meringue. I was like, oh, that would be cool. I'd like to see that done. But yeah, I think you could see some of the like when it baked, it definitely created some separation and everything there. But I think that was part of like what the intention is. They're very, very simple. I think they said 4 ingredients, basically. That's it. So you get the flour and the sugar and the butter, and then you've just got the egg whites for the meringue.
I don't know.
Should we try it?
I don't know.
I think it's worthwhile trying. I think I'm going to try it just because I think they're kind of a fascinating little cookie.
Yeah,
and different.
I love shortbread, so I'd be on that.
I don't know if I would like the look of it.
Well, yeah, I know.
Like
they're not lookers. We just went through that.
But yeah,
they're tasters.
They're tasters.
If I can't make it tight and I can't make it neat, it would drive me crazy.
I understand that. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I not kind of my bake. Not kind of bake.
All right. Well, no gingerbread, no jitterbug cookies coming from Vincent anytime soon.
Yes. No, thank you.
We can try to figure out a way to make them look great and be nice and tight, and then
yes,
if we can, then we'll let you know for sure. Yes. But those cream-filled mocha buns, I wanted. Rita had, I think she did really well this week.
I think bounced her out of that, bottom 3 for sure.
For sure. And we did talk about the puff pastry brioche dough that Marcus did, and a little bit about his strawberry princess tort. But we didn't talk about his vanilla heart cookies, which what the heck? What was in them? A triple espresso coffee in the cookie.
Yeah. But weren't they wasn't that like a filled cookie that we saw in Cookie Week?
Like a stuffed cookie?
Yeah, stuffed cookie.
Yeah. Yeah, because he put it into the
mold.
The mold. Yeah. Why not?
No, it's all good. I'm just asking the question. It was like he could have used that one for Cookie Week too.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, but he wanted to have this whole ode to his sweetheart, which I thought was adorable. How cheesy, quote unquote, he was being.
Yeah, and that's his fiance's his princess.
It was very cute.
So sweet.
They had nothing but good things to say about his Canelbular cinnamon buns. They had beautiful lamination, like the pages of the book. And Bruno just about had conniption in a good way with all that butter. He was like,
Yes.
It's good when you eat butter.
He was a happy Bruno.
happy boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Erica could have used a little bit of help from Chocolate Master Steven. Oh, it broke my heart. I loved the way it looked.
Yeah.
What a beautiful idea. It looked great until it
didn't.
Until it didn't. But wow, mad props to Erica for actually taking on such an ambitious bake in spite of everything else that had to get done. That's a lot. And then, again, sort of that go big or go home kind of thought process, I guess, when you're planning out your bakes. But had it really turned out, I mean, she could have easily have been star baker as well if she could have nailed that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I go that far, but
yeah, that might be a
maybe
stretch.
not star baker, since she was kind of in the iffy about being in trouble by the time they got to the Showstopper.
But question for Steve.
And she used lavender.
I like lavender.
I like lavender too. I like all.
You guys can have all my lavender.
I didn't notice that she used lavender.
Take that.
Yeah, blueberry lavender cookie. Again, as long as you use just enough, I'm good. It'll be a nice accent to the blueberry. And blueberry, my favorite of all the berries. Absolute favorite of all the berries.
I thought they said blueberry lemon. Maybe blueberry lemon tea cookies.
Lavender.
It was
lemon rose hip princess tarta, right?
Yeah, and a ginger date roll.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounded good.
Yeah,
but,
that did sound good.
So Steve, in terms of the cake itself, I mean the cup itself, I saw her brushing the white chocolate in the mold.
Yeah, that was part one bad.
I thought, how are you going to get this out of there? First of all, like it's not smooth, and it's going to hang on. It's going to crack, and if it was tempered, it'll probably crack. And you would probably have to put like a lot of chocolate to make that thing come out in one piece.
Yep.
But brushing it on the side is never going to do it. On top of it being not tempered, right? But tempering white chocolate is an art in itself. Like it is, even when you temper white chocolate,
it always called me to do it, right, Vincent?
It's still soft, right? It's still soft. It's not as ever going to be like the chocolate bar you just ate and tried to retemper. No.
Yeah, that's true.
So
white chocolate will have give even in full temper. And again, I don't know when it was starting to fall apart in the actual real timeline, where maybe even if you realize it's not in temper, it doesn't matter. Melt some white chocolate, slap it on the side, take the cold spray it, and cross your fingers at that point. But who knows when it was actually breaking in the real timeline?
Yeah,
very nice. It didn't look great coming out of the mold.
No, it did not. No.
Yeah. It was
and for that. And for that, if you want to have a better structure and you're going to hope it's going to work, maybe you put white cocoa butter on the inside, maybe, and then put dark chocolate if you're really set on white. Otherwise, a dark chocolate, you got a better shot. But you know what? Temper a bunch of it. Fill that thing up. Let it sit and just let it sit and then empty it out. You get yourself a thicker shell, then put your cake inside and you got a better shot at it.
Yeah.
Because white chocolate is you're right, it's soft.
So did she did the mold, she did the white chocolate tempering in the mold, and then she put all those layers in that before she took it out of the mold?
Yes,
because she turned the whole thing out at once.
Out together.
Where again, might you have a better shot because at least the cake itself is going to hold it
together.
Yeah.
Maybe versus just taking it out and then trying to build it where you're for sure going to crack it.
Yeah.
I think you have to do it that way.
But would have been, you know what? She would have had a better chance if she made it a mug as opposed to a teacup with straight sides.
Yeah,
but the princess cake is supposed to be that shape, right?
Yeah. She didn't have to have a princess cake.
That's true.
Yeah,
could have been a coffee mug.
But maybe they did, because so many people did, right? And this is again, we don't know exactly what the brief was, and it is a Swedish thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that might have been in the brief that you here's
have
your
to do
choice of
it.
cakes,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah,
Or
maybe.
had
Get our briefs, right?
Yeah.
We get our briefs from the show. We get whether we're supposed to do all the requirements that we're supposed to have, and then they'll give you maybe 5 or 6 photos as examples of
Mhm.
what things that you could do
Yeah.
if you wanted to. So maybe in that brief there was like a princess cake because it's Swedish, right?
It's pretty
As an example,
classically Swedish,
right?
pretty classic Swedish cake.
But I would have broke off from that and just went away. If she wanted to do that, because it could have been a really cool mug with say, happy birthday dad on it, world's best dad on it.
Or whatever. Yeah.
That would have been fun, right?
Yeah.
Or a cup of coffee solves everything,
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
there you go. Coffee.
or just write something Swedish on the outside of it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Mark.
Or she, it could have been a black mug, it could have been a brown mug, a dark
Yeah.
chocolate, right? There's a lot of ways
Yeah.
to get around it.
There could have been, yeah.
She could have got away with it. And
All
she
the
could have wrapped if it was a coffee cup, she could have wrapped acetate around it
Mhm.
and covered the seam with a handle, right? So I love the drawing and I was really hoping that it was gonna come out because this comes out, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, when I saw the drawing, I was wondering if it was, I couldn't even tell from the drawing, and maybe I was missing something. Was it an edible cup or was that the vessel it was sitting in? And
Right.
it wasn't until she was making it, I was like, oh, the whole thing's going to be edible. Let's see this.
So super ambitious. I mean, you
Yep.
have to give her mad props for
100%.
the idea.
Go big.
And
Always go big.
yeah, it just didn't work out as well as I think she had envisioned or had hoped for, sadly.
She was so happy when it first came out, she did a little jiggle dance and it was so adorable. And then it became, oh no. And she's like, stop doing what you're doing. And then just to see her face afterwards, it was just like, oh man,
Yeah.
she was just crying at the end of the Showstopper when they called time. And that, there's a lot of feelings this episode, you guys.
There are.
Yeah, there were so many.
But they said the cake was a little mealy anyway.
Yeah.
So that's almost like, do you want it to be really delicious and damn, it could have been great? Or okay, so it was mealy too, so not so bad. It was trying to run out of the cup, but they like the cookie and they like the buns. So
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And then I really liked Jen's flavors in this.
Me too.
In this one. The orange Earl Grey cinnamon buns sounded amazing to me. And the raspberry mocha princess cake. I mean, and her cake, the piping on her cake was beautiful.
It was gorgeous.
They didn't show them making marzipan at all, any of these princess torts.
No, they didn't.
I was interested in if they were actually all using marzipan on it or if they just made some other kind of covering.
Like fondant.
They probably made
fondant or white chocolate.
They probably could have, they could have asked for marzipan. They didn't probably have to make it. They could have asked for fondant if you didn't want to make it. Because I think the show would realize it's like that's asking a lot for somebody to make marzipan.
For 3.5, for 3 and
they've got a lot of stuff.
And all these components. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? You don't have to.
We'll give you the marzipan or the fondant if you want it.
Yeah. Her princess cake was gorgeous. It had delicate chocolate coffee mousse and good flavor. She had a wonderful orange aroma on the buns and the rhubarb lemon jam in the cookies, the thumbprint cookies. It all sounded fantastic, and I don't think they had any complaints at all. So well done, Jen.
She slayed that one for sure.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Yeah,
that was a good comeback from her little kind of mishaps in the signature. And Guillaume really planned to bring his A game, and he came forward with some really unusual flavors, which I think was a good strategy.
Yep.
But it didn't pay off for him. He had strawberry wintergreen buns, which unfortunately Kyla said tasted a little bit too much like toothpaste. Vince is shaking his head.
Bad idea.
Mint is so tough.
It is tough. Yeah.
No, it's a bad idea.
Tell us how you feel, Vincent.
Are you talking about the wintergreen in general or the flavor?
Peppermint, mint, like lavender. If you don't use it properly, you are so screwed.
Yeah.
It will taste like toothpaste every time.
Isn't it the same with rose though? Tastes like soap?
No, I don't find rose so bad. I
It's
don't find
maybe
rose
not
so
as
bad.
bad as lavender for soapiness.
Yeah, lavender is more like, grandma's undies. It just gross.
I don't know
I
anything
thought we
about.
could get through the whole show without saying that phrase. I really, because I
Is
was
that he
counting on
says that
sleeping at
often?
some point tonight, and now there's no sleep,
Obviously,
so I might as well make
Stephen's
a
not
coffee.
surprised.
Oh wow, grandma's undies. Well,
Grandma's
okay.
undies.
Thank you for that,
Even
Vincent.
Grandpa's not talking about those right now.
Oh boy, boy.
And then he made a sea buckthorn cake, and the sea berry tasted good, but it was unfortunately mushy.
Mushy.
And then the blueberry Earl Grey cookie, which I really liked the sound of those flavors, and it had great flavor. And then Bruno said keeping it simple paid off. Sometimes keeping it simple pays off, and that it seemed like a bit of a jab to me, I thought.
Well, I think you know what, Guillaume. Here's the thing with Guillaume. He always brought from day one. He always brought very unique flavor combinations.
Mhm.
That was his shtick.
Yeah.
He was always pushing the envelope. He wanted to give the judges something that maybe they'd never seen or tasted before.
Yeah.
And, up until this point, it had actually worked fairly well for him.
Mhm.
And I think this just wasn't his week, unfortunately. I mean, it's so sad because we know how incredibly skilled and talented and creative he is. It's just, this was not his week. And it was tough because pretty much most of the other bakers had a pretty solid week with flavors and hitting their stuff. I mean, a couple little missteps here and there, but for the most part, it was a fairly decent week for successful bakes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And anyone can have a bad week. I don't know. You guys have to weigh in. I know, Vincent, I know you're so crushed by this outcome.
Well, I'm not going to say I'm upset, but the thing is that honestly, I don't think he was the worst baker this week.
Hmm.
That's my opinion. I'm not going to say who I think it is, but I don't think that he deserved to go home. I think there was another baker that deserved to go home one. And the same with Star Baker. Just putting it out there.
Yeah. This is like, I'd be very interested to hear what people's guesses are on this as to who you think maybe should have been Star Baker instead.
Yeah,
I think I could
because I
probably
guessed
guess.
the Star Baker and the person going home. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
the only one that I wasn't sure was I was sort of back and forth on the Star Baker, and my
Yeah.
concern was only because of the finish and the technical. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
based on comments and what I saw, it made sense to me.
Yeah.
The two people.
for sure. But you know what? I hear what you're saying on Star Baker. I think it was probably a challenging discussion to have because I think you had three really, really solid, amazing bakes by Pamela, Marcus, and Alora again. So those would have been my top three easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
We've had four different Star Bakers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an even playing field right there.
It really is.
Yep.
The season has been so fascinating. And so unfortunately, Guillaume went home. It's unfair and horrible, and we shall all miss him very, very much. I'm just watching Vincent's face here. It's like, because first person I thought of when he was eliminated, I sent Guillaume a message.
Aw.
And the second person I thought of was Vincent. And I was like, are you okay? But he hadn't seen it yet. So, and once he had watched it, we all knew because we got a message.
We all knew.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I think we're all sad. This one, it hits hard too. I mean, they all hit hard because we know how incredibly talented everybody who's been in that tent this year has been.
Yeah.
It really does get harder every week because we are now more invested in the people. We know them better week after week. It's harder for them seeing them because they're more invested in each other. They've gotten to know each other. They've gotten to love each other. And now we're halfway through. And now it's more and more the little things are making the difference between going home and staying. Just tiny little things. Even if two people have bad weeks, it could be a tiny thing between those two or everyone could have a great week. And, there's going to be weeks where everyone has good bakes and someone's going home who normally wouldn't go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the judges probably, I mean, it cannot be an easy decision for Kyla and Bruno to make.
No, it
So,
can't. Yeah.
on both fronts, on both sides of it, right? Both on the Star Baker side as well as on the the unfortunate person who has to go home.
And once again, we don't see everything, Vincent. We don't get to hear everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Certainly don't get to hear what they're saying when they're sitting at their table having coffee, discussing who's going to be eliminated and who's going to be Star Baker. But who knows what when it came
eye
out.
candy had to come up in the conversation.
Eye
right?
candy?
That has to be one of the criteria on who sticks around.
But
that and that's what kept me in the whole.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's interesting though, because in the final, we've got 6 people left now. There's only one guy standing.
Right. But that's what happens when you start only with 3.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I mean, they've all had very, very strong bakes. It'll be very interesting to see how the next few weeks play out.
Well, the one guy standing is very, very strong.
Yeah, I mean, that's a guy that I think all of us picked early. Like first week when we talked about it, his name came up right away.
Yeah.
And so has anything changed for you guys? From our original picks. What do you guys?
Mine is gone. So yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I had said Jen, Marcus, and Pamela were my 3.
Yeah.
And it's still looking pretty good. Although I got to tell you, as of halfway through week 1, no one has been more consistent than Alora.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Alora is definitely
almost getting stronger every week. So you'd be crazy not to put her name at the top or really close to the top of any list.
I agree. Yeah,
that was the same with Steven from our season.
Yes,
I mean, he sort of just came out of nowhere and he just got better and better and better, and then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, where is he coming from right now?
Yeah. And Andrew in season 7 too. I think you could say this similar for him as well. I think every week he just kept getting better and better and better as well.
Yeah. I was thinking that today when I was watching that. Alora, I'm like, she's a contender for sure.
Quiet.
I said she could win this whole thing. That was
she's quiet and she's moving on, So
she's very confident in her capabilities.
And she's very clean as she's like, in terms of, her presentation is always really beautiful.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm like, she's definitely edging out maybe one of my top 3, but I'm not going to say who at this point. I really have got my eye on her.
Yeah. But any given Sunday, I'll use the football analogy, but any given Sunday, things can happen. And we saw that with Guillaume, unfortunately. Crazy, talented, wonderful baker, joy to watch bake in the tent.
Yes.
And we won't be seeing him anymore in the tent.
And we will miss Guillaume, but he is going to come and talk with us tomorrow.
Yes,
we'll be airing that interview on Thursday. So everybody will be able to hear from Guillaume how everything went for him and how he's feeling now.
He better mention my name.
Oh, he'll mention your name.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah. We'll make sure to bait him with it.
We'll be like, so who's your favorite winner? Or who's your favorite of the
Asian from season 5 that's under 5'4"?
One of the Fabulous Baker Boys that does the recaps with us.
Yes. Which one? Hint, hint, he may have new glasses soon if they ever show up.
I think he does listen to our podcast. So there you go. You might get that shout out that you're so desperately wanting in Vincent.
I'm pretty sure you will.
The other thing about Guillaume is that we actually have a lot in common, because I love entomology and I collect bugs.
Do you
Uh,
really?
I do. I have a whole collection. I have a chest full of bugs that I'm not allowed to display because they gross people out. But I love bugs too. So
Fascinating.
I hear you. I've got a bug story for you too. So my first husband was an agriculture. He was in agriculture at UBC. He was an Aggie, and one of his courses was an entomology class that he had to do, and we had to collect bugs. And so everywhere we went, we had baggies with us. We had like a little cooler with us, pins, everything, just in case we found a bug. And then we also had people collecting them for us because they had to have like there were different categories of bugs that you had to collect. We had bugs in our freezer. It was like really, it was lovely.
Oh,
love.
that's awesome. Well, I'm not a student of entomology, but I do enjoy etymology.
What's
That's
that?
that's the study of the
Words.
origin of words.
Words, right?
Yes.
Let's go. Obviously, we're not.
That's
Even
where Lisa.
new.
That's where Lisa and I work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we love.
Oh, so you know what it was too, Stephen? You knew what etymology was? So you just let Vincent and I just hang behind.
No, he
with you.
said it.
I
He
said it.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you? I missed it. Sorry. My bad. I took my glasses off so I can't see you
So
as
you couldn't
clearly
see it.
anymore.
Can't hear you because my glasses are off.
Right.
Exactly. There's a connection, I swear.
There is.
There you go.
I brought my reading glasses in so that I could look at my notes, and I had them on top of my head the entire time. And then I finally was like, why do I have my glasses on? Anyway,
But
thank you guys for joining us. That
no
was
problem.
really fun hanging out. Yes, go ahead.
Next week is Arts and Crafts Week.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so remember on Cake Week, Vincent, I think you were slamming poor Pamela because well, not slamming her, but you thought her cake would be even more exceptional if she did a cartoon thing. It looks like they've got cartoon cakes coming up. So
There you go.
That's
That's why
probably
they
why she didn't do it.
that's why she didn't do the cartoon cake.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I want to see if someone makes a blueberry tart just because of the little rhyme we did when we were kids. I think that
What?
would be.
What's the
You
rhyme?
know, maybe it was just me. Maybe
A
it was me
blueberry
and my
tart cartoon?
foolish children. You know, the arts and farts and blueberry tarts.
I've never heard
No.
that
Oh,
before.
huh? Okay.
But I
Maybe
hope
it's an
somebody
Well,
does.
if there's
Okay.
one blueberry tart, I know someone else understands. So
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I hope somebody does it and brings that up so that you can bring it up in our recap, because that
That
would
would be
great.
awesome.
I may bring it up anyway.
Well,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing what that could potentially look like. Arts and
Yeah.
Crafts Week. So it looks like one of them's definitely cartoon cake.
Mhm. Yeah, did look
But
like that.
yeah.
I hope it's not going to be like season 6 and that
Oh, the
silly, whatever the heck they're
Yeah.
called. Those cakes I hate.
tushy cake. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Ugh.
The
I couldn't
What are they
roll my
called?
eyes back any further.
the,
My
an,
legs.
the anime, what are they called? The
oh
cutesy pie cakes.
Yes.
oh yeah,
Japanese.
Yeah, what are they called again?
Started with an H, right?
yeah, I don't know.
And
I-
silence rules.
Very memorable bake.
Yes,
Were they kawaii? Kawaii?
Kawaii.
Kawaii?
That's it.
Okay.
Not Hawaii.
Kawaii.
Yeah, kawaii.
Hawaii starts with an H.
I didn't have my
Kawaii.
glasses on when they said it, so I couldn't remember.
Yes, kawaii cakes. That's right.
Yes,
I-
so this
I
has got to
hate
be
it.
different.
Yes.
Ugh, I hated that bake.
I'm sorry. And I'm sorry for your loss this week, Vincent.
Yeah.
Oh
Well, we're
well.
all a little sad.
Yes.
We're all a
Well,
little
that's
sad.
A
Yeah.
moment
Looking-
for Guillaume.
Oh.
sad. All right. enough.
Oh, Steve. Yes.
We do love the gun show. Thank you, Stephen, for
That's it.
that.
There you
We
go.
will miss that. But he brought them out for you for one last episode.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Thanks for that.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for spending so much time with us tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And we will see you again soon. Happy baking.
Happy baking.
Ding.